Hello there. I am so glad that you're here because we are having such a dramatic evening. But that's okay because I am excited. A lot of y'all know that I and some friends of mine have become interested, shall we say, in investigating in Scotland. And we have gone for the last 3 years now. And because of this, we've had so many experiences with so many friends. I'm just really blown away by the kindness of the people in Scotland. And that includes 3 different groups that we've gone with. We've been all over the all over the place. Finally got to the Highlands this year because I pitched a duck fit, and you know, nothing wrong with that. It worked. And so tonight I have my 2 of my travel companions, the 3 of us for who went this year, and that would be Rick McCullum of Hollywood Ghost Hunters and Lori Dorsey, who is a fantastic paranormal investigator. So let's go ahead and bring them on. Hey, Lori. Hey, Rick.
Hello.
So, how goes it with y'all?
Made it through the holidays.
No.
I didn't celebrate the holidays. It was easy.
Oh, well, you got celebrated though.
Yay!
Yay.
Yay. We are such dweebs.
I
So,
know.
you know, I am operating under stress tonight because I do not have my laptop with me. And that makes things interesting. So I just am so glad that y'all put up with me. And you know what I'm gonna do?
Afraid to ask.
I know.
You guys, y'all just don't trust me at all. Could be because you know me, but
You think?
I think because I'm going to tell people maybe that we're on the air. Because what's fun is that I've learned that I can do lives and people show up and it's so much fun. But it's what we did in Scotland all the years that we went. The first year was a bust as far as never doing that again with a company. You know, I prefer my tours real and not just mysterious. But I don't like being left on the side of the road either, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That far aside.
Yeah.
But there's no touching, absolutely no touching the people in Scotland. Hey, Jeremy York. And it was really such a blessing, Rick, when you introduced us to Greg Stewart, who was the first person from Scottish Paranormal or Haunted Scotland that we got to meet. And how did you come to know him?
That's a tough question. It just seemed like he was always there. I don't know. I went out there. Somebody took me out there to meet them.
Yeah.
I think it was Brian Hartley, who had another paranormal group. He was the first guy that I ghost hunted with, and he took me out there to meet him. And then they kept me captive. They kept me in this place called Balgony Castle. They wouldn't let me out. It was awful.
That is not a fate worse than death.
No, that'd be pretty cool. Be able to stay in Balgony all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you meet the Laird the first time you went?
Yeah. The Laird was really something. He was so good at everything. He was an artist, and he was represented Scotland in the leatherworking things. He's a fantastic painter. He carved on both sides of the doors, 42 doors inside that castle. And I mean, they're all spectacular. I mean, he was just a really good guy. And I don't know, the first time I met him, we really hit it off. So that was pretty cool.
Well, you know, it's hard it's hard to imagine the friendship that y'all developed so strongly and so quickly. And that was such a gift, I think, because he was really an extraordinary man.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
One could almost say a Renaissance man.
Yeah, he was really something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. We just bonded instantly. I mean, it was like we'd known each other forever. And I kind of wonder if that might be the case.
Well, you know my take on that. I absolutely think that y'all were.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
you know, the fact that you were able to have that rapport, the fact that you were able to just, I mean, everything about y'all's interaction was so special.
Yeah, you know what else is special? Because most people don't know this. I'm allergic to most dogs.
Yeah.
And the Laird had an Irish wolfhound. And if there was ever a dog you would consider that you were going to be allergic to, but I wasn't. He a big old hairy ape of a dog, and he was so friendly, and you know, it was really cool going there because you got to meet the Laird, you got to play with Alfie.
Yeah.
Now both of them are gone, and Stuart has taken over as Laird of the castle. That's his son. So, still a great place to go.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I do miss my friend, even though he did tell me goodbye.
Boy, did he.
Boy, did he.
That was one of the most powerful paranormal experiences I've ever had. And you know, we all knew or felt, hey Melinda, that if it was possible that he was coming back to tell you goodbye.
It
And
took me a while to catch on.
that's true. Everybody else in the room is like, hello. And Rick's like, who could this be? Somebody who's familiar with paranormal equipment and they're very strong, and everybody else is like, hello.
Well, you have to tell them what happened now, since you said everything.
He blew up the equipment. The man, every K2 in the room is going off. The
REM pod
was, and I'm going to tell you, in the videos, in my video, Mikey's video didn't show much of it either. But when you're sitting there looking at the REM pod, it is electricity climbing the antenna, right, Lori?
Yeah.
You saw that. I mean,
Yep,
it's not.
I saw it.
And
I was in shock.
yeah, I've never seen that. I was really actually concerned because of the batteries was something going wrong, right? I didn't want to have that blow up, and it could look like it could have. But in the video, it's not there.
But we saw with our eyes, it almost looked like a Jacob's ladder.
It did. In real life, that's exactly what it looked like.
Yep.
And I will never, ever forget that moment because everything is pegged. Everything is pegged. And I had 3 recorders going. I've gone completely through 2 of them. And there's nothing being said in that moment that I picked up.
Yeah, there was a lot of strange things happening in there. You know, the K2, I had one, and so did Lori.
Yeah.
And both of them went to 5 lights and locked. We had to turn our things off when they'd come back on, and they were still locked, and we'd turn them off again.
Yeah.
I mean, there was so much energy that blasted that room. It was like getting hit with a nuke.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, it was. Belinda, we did get video. Mikey actually did a video of that experience. And it was.
I never saw it.
You didn't?
No, I think he would have sent it to me.
Betty probably did, but because he wouldn't have done that.
I know. He posted it too.
Yeah. It might have been when you were not 100%.
Well, that could have been any time since 1967.
There's that.
There's
I wasn't
that.
gonna, I wasn't going to quite go there, but I may still.
Hey, I throw the red flag on myself. It's just, there's a penalty on me.
It's okay.
Mhm.
But that really was probably the strongest personal response of somebody that you were interacting, somebody that you knew, right?
Mhm.
And to me, that was so incredibly special.
Well,
Just
tell the people about what happened with the camera batteries when you were
But your
filming.
camera shutting
my
off.
camera, there wasn't anything wrong with my batteries.
No, I mean it sucked
Camera kept
everything
shutting
dry
off.
in the room.
My camera was
Shut
constantly
off.
being shut off. And I did change batteries. Melinda was in there. But, it was crazy because no matter what I did, I wasn't getting to film it. Mikey did, but I was sitting right beside that REM pod, like eyeball to eyeball with that REM pod, and
Mhm.
nothing I was using did a great
Yeah,
job.
your
Well,
camera shut down 9 times.
Mikey giving you one of his batteries to use too, and that one went.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was
Everything died.
three batteries went dead that were all fully charged, and these are big bad. They're not little.
No, I
Mhm.
travel with big batteries because, when you're we're dealing with UK plugs. B, I am a safety girl. I am going to have my batteries, and if you don't, you're going to be sitting there with no shot because some of those spirits are so strong,
Mhm.
and they're old spirits there too.
Mhm.
That was really something.
That was really something.
Mhm.
I've never seen anything like that before.
Nope. And I mean, we all are pretty experienced investigators.
Mhm.
So that was really,
I had something similar at Shelley's
yeah,
in the basement. I had something similar to that. The K2 was pegged. The REM pod was pegged. Everything was pegged. And that's when I heard what I thought was the telephone,
yes.
a cell phone, and there wasn't one down there. But you
Did
could
you
hear
guys
it.
just hear that?
Yeah, it's a fire truck.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm not soundproof at the beach. Sorry. And I am not at home, as y'all can tell by all of the weird stuff going on with the fan and everything. But yeah, little
Yeah.
drama with fire trucks. But
Mhm.
I had that experience in the basement. You were there because it was when Katie came to Paulding
Mhm.
with the energy bridge that
Yeah.
I did with Shelley's brother.
Toby.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Bet he doesn't do that again. Every so often my energy goes off the
Well, just like when you were using the rods at Bannockburn and was talking to the guy that I murdered.
Yeah.
I mean, that was crazy.
that Bannockburn was crazy. And I've got all these pictures that I loaded for the show at the different places and things like that. And
Mhm.
I don't think they're labeled where Carl can see what they are, but in a while we'll just flash through them and we can talk about what they are.
Mhm.
But
This one, I enjoyed the pool house. That was a pretty cool place.
oh my gosh, that was cool.
I didn't get a chance to do much. You guys were all wedged into one room having a good investigation, so I just went through the rest of the building.
Well, I was going to say, you went to a lot of places we didn't go into.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I did have something happen upstairs.
I was going to say,
actually-
didn't something happen? Didn't you see something?
Yeah, I actually was standing in one of the bedrooms,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a mirror over here, and there was a lady in a black
Yes.
Victorian dress, I guess, what you call it.
Mhm.
And I'm standing there, and I'm looking out the window, and all of a sudden I see a black streak go right by my head. And I turned around and I said, could that have been a reflection off the mirror? And I'm looking around and I couldn't see anything. Finally, I told Liam, I said, can you see how this could possibly have something black go by there? And he goes, they report that all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that room, when we were walking in, Helen and I both saw someone in that window.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
because I went to look for that room when we got inside.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, that place was built really weird, man. There's stairs over here, going over there. Looked like the mystery house, Winchester Mystery House. It's like, where am I?
Yeah.
yeah,
About
Mhm.
150 rooms less. But
but better stairs.
by the way, people out there that are watching this, we have investigated the Winchester Mystery House also.
We
Yes, we
had.
have. We
That was
have.
so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you were talking about Old South Pittsburgh, not Old South Pittsburgh, Shelley's
We've
place.
investigated there too.
Yeah, but
Shelley's
something
place.
happened to Kat that was amazing.
Paulding.
That
Yeah.
she was telling us how good before we went. She wasn't there. How good the interaction she had. And Lori was telling me, she goes, "Yeah, it's too bad she's not here." And I said, "Well, let's call her." So we called her, and she started talking, and the K2 started going off to whatever she asked. That it was answering her the whole time. It was back and forth. I'm sitting there going, "This is crazy." Kat's the only person I know that can, ghost hunt over the phone.
Well,
was
you know,
bizarre.
at first I thought that it was the phone energy, right? But
I
nothing.
stepped away.
Yeah, but when you told me that, and the fact that it was actually responding to what I was saying,
Mm-hmm.
because I do have a relationship with some of those spirits at the old Paulding jail,
Mm-hmm.
and I like them. Well, we have a good relationship now.
Yeah.
It did not start out that way.
Same here. Yours is
Yeah.
a little more dramatic than mine. They just told me they didn't like me.
Yeah, well, mine were like, that was a bad experience. It was not a bad experience. They did not hurt me. They were not
No.
unkind, but they were mad, and they were, banging and booming, and
Yeah.
so, yeah, that was,
Mm-hmm. They just came over the Shelley's spirit box thing.
I love
And when
that thing.
I would ask them, I said, "Can I spend the night here?" And they would say, "No,
Yeah.
get
Well, in
out."
the cell blocks,
In the cell blocks. Yeah.
they'll let you be in the guest room.
Yeah. In the guest room, I was fine, but
Yeah.
not in the cell block. I was not allowed to be in there. They said no, or I had to leave the room. I would get that feeling,
Yeah.
and I would say, "Do you want me to leave?" They say yes. So I would go downstairs, and they would have all kinds of interaction with the people that I left upstairs. So that's
Yeah.
another, they didn't like me. And I just told them, I said, "I don't care. I'll be back."
Yes.
So, and I
Well,
was.
it was strange. I had an interaction with them when I wasn't even there.
Yeah, they asked for you.
Yeah, the sheriff kept saying, "Get Rick, get Rick."
Get Rick. Get Rick.
They needed backup.
I'll be
Yeah.
there, but it'll take a while.
Yeah.
That place is crazy. I love that place. And
Mm-hmm.
I loved Winchester House too, but that energy was very weird and it was very moody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I did like that there was a piece of furniture in there that I have at my house.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
Pretty
I
cool.
thought maybe that would make a connection with her, But it didn't seem to connect with her really at all.
Let me ask you guys a question. What is your favorite place of the places that we've been able to go to together?
Balgony.
That's tough.
Mine's Balgony too.
Yeah. Well, I will say that you didn't investigate it, Rick, because you were sick. But when we were at Salutations, that was unexpected investigation because we just grabbed equipment and went down to the meeting room.
Yeah.
And we were doing
we had the tracers. up and down the stairs.
Oh my God, those are the best.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mikey had
Tracer
tracers.
tape you can get from Ghost Stop.
Yeah.
Those work. Those work so
Mhm.
well. But
Oh
we
yeah.
were also doing headphones. Help me
The
out.
Estes method. We were doing
Estes.
the
We were
Estes
doing
method.
sessions
Mhm.
down there too.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Lynn and Gary, you and me, and Finn.
Yeah.
And I was getting stuff. When Lynn took the headset, she was getting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Finn was getting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went over into that other conference room
Mm-hmm.
and we got attitude.
Yeah.
Basically. So.
Yeah.
But
It was
that was,
pretty interesting. Yeah. It was pretty interesting.
yeah. That was
Well,
where.
tell them some of the stuff that happened to you two when we were in Scotland.
Oh. Well, Lori had an experience at the Fair Maid House, which was cool.
I was talking to a gentleman and he died. I think it was 14th century, 15th century. His body was never found. He wasn't married. He did have a girlfriend or a fiance or, you know, you know. And yeah, he really liked the guy that took us around. You know, the tour guide. He really liked that guy. So he
Well, that guy was brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, Fair Maid's house was pretty interesting when you guys all went upstairs and I asked if he wanted me to stay to light up the K2 and I mean it pegged. I said, okay, I'll sit down here and talk to you. That's no problem. You know, I can talk on occasion.
On occasion.
On occasion.
Only on days that end in Y.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
But
yeah, Fair Maids and then Bannockburn for me.
And here's the Fair Maid House.
Yep, that's it.
That's the upstairs part.
Mm.
I thought that was so cool. And you actually had an experience in the downstairs part. That's where that man was, right?
Yep. Yep. Right.
And,
it come through the front door.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's where I sat down on that bench and I explained how to use the K2 and he caught on pretty quickly with it. So
yeah,
that was.
You're very good
cool.
at that.
Some days. I'm better with the SLS, but you know, I didn't take it with me.
I don't, you see a lot, but I think that the SLS, you're going to get stuff if it's there anyway, because they don't really have it. I don't think that they know how to avoid being caught on that.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You had your, where were we? Oh, it was at Aerith Castle. I couldn't film it. He wouldn't show up on my camera. He wouldn't show up on the SLS.
Well, you know what else is weird? I went out to this girl's house, Kristen, her name is, because she said she had this real nasty spirit. And she lived in Malibu. And I said, well, where do I park? Because parking on the beach in Malibu is a nightmare. And she goes, well, you just come into the parking lot there and park behind the Range Rover. And I went, everybody in Malibu has a Range Rover. She goes, I'll come out and get you. So she came out and got me. We went in and her place was haunted. And then she walked me back out to the car and I went home. And she called me the next day and she goes, I watched the Ring, you know, the Ring doorbell. She says, I saw me go out to get you. I saw me come back in. I saw me walk out to go out to your car and come back. And you're not neither one of them. I'm like,
I told you, you vibrated a different level.
He does.
I might be dead already and I just don't know it. I'm just talking to you guys.
Well, you know, but we talk a lot, so
True.
there's that.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
But we do have some of the weirdest damn things that ever happened. Some guy yelled at Lori and said she murdered him.
Yes. And they were, I thought it was a woman. I felt like it was a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, you still killed somebody. And I mean, We share rooms all the time. Is there something I need to know?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, that's just that was weird. That was very weird
That was
because I have never seen a spirit that emphatic and didn't stop being that emphatic for a
Mhm.
long time. And hi in chat, but and thanks for being here. I know that this is a couple of your first time. I appreciate you, but you know, it's really interesting to me because those spirits were they were off the chain there.
Mhm.
They really
Mhm.
were. And I didn't know what to think of that at first.
Mhm. But the thing
Because
that got me was when I walked into that place, it felt so like I'd been there, like
Mhm. well, you had
I
because you
had lived there or something. It was like was so strong, especially when I was downstairs. It was like this place. I know this place.
yes,
I know
yes.
this place.
Well, you were saying that before we found out you killed people.
Yeah, I mean, it was just unbelievable. I mean, it was crazy. And then when we went to that Menzies,
Mingus, Mingus,
Mingus, Mingus.
Menzies.
Menzies. Yeah,
I don't care how them crazy Scotsmen say it. Zies is
Menzies
Z's, not
Castle,
Gus.
Yeah, that's it.
and you know that was to me that was the most beautiful place. You know when we
Oh
pulled
yeah.
up, and you can't really tell in this image, but to the left of this picture is the most beautiful pasture
Mm-hmm.
that is got the yellow grasses that are grown and kind of blown over. When we came into it, the road coming in is in a very primitive ancient forest. And
Yeah.
I mean, the pine needles, guys, were like this long.
Oh, they
And
were huge.
it was just so beautiful and so brilliant. And
Mm-hmm.
we had I had a very mellow time there.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite, oh, I didn't put this in here, but the Bonnie Prince Charlie's death mask is there,
Yeah.
the death mask.
Yeah.
And that blew me away. I didn't anticipate that being there either
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, it just wasn't something we have.
Oh.
But, you know, they needed that because they
Mm-hmm.
needed, excuse me, they needed to have proof of his death.
Right.
And that was a little trippy.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. It wasn't. And also, all of the fittings, I don't remember what they call them, around the castle, they had the molds to make new ones. The molds were wood, and they would pour like the medallions and stuff for the trim. So there was so much there to maintain that.
Mm-hmm.
And that just wasn't something that I anticipated being a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but I didn't. And I was just mesmerized by all of this stuff. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And
The Mangus one, I didn't get a lot of interaction, but the vibe or the energy was really odd.
oh yes,
It was very odd.
and
I'm assuming because they didn't know us, they didn't know who we were, and Rick was walking around with his tartan, so they were probably intimidated by him.
yeah.
But
Well, and he's big,
yeah,
and he's obviously Scott.
yeah.
So you know that made a difference too. And we have a
Mm-hmm.
couple of questions here. So we have Minnesota Association of Paranormal here in the house. We have Nobakov in the house. We have Sultan Mahmood 8041 in the house, and we have questions too. And we've got Sultan Mahmud, Sultan Mahmud. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I'm never mean to offend, but sometimes I don't get it right. And he says, "Hi, where did y'all visit in Scotland?" And we went everywhere. We had the best time. We started in Edinburgh every time. And then we went to, the first time we were with a tour and nobody knew where we went because it was crazy. We went to Linlithgow because we went to Midhope Castle, which is we actually saw a lot of Outlander castles, but I don't watch Outlander, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
But we went to some cool places with that.
Blackness Castle, that's another Outlander thing.
Oh my gosh, Blackness Castle. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we almost
And
had
I
our
almost
head.
got blown over.
You were almost blown over.
By the
I
way,
know.
remember we went to Clava Cairns, and that's where the famous stone from
That
Outlander is.
nobody told me was a famous stone.
Yeah, if you touch it, you're supposed to go back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
everybody else,
touching it. I wanted to go back because, I mean, look at this. This is real.
everybody was doing the pictures. And there's a great one of Lori where she's like, with her hands on the stone. When it's my turn to get my picture taken, I have no idea. So I'm doing the little very sorority chick. But it was so funny because I guess I would have been just pleased as punch to go back or something. That's what it looked like. But it was so fun. And that's where you got to, because you had already learned about energy circles when we were
Perth.
no, we were in
No.
Duffield.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's where we stopped for lunch and had the cathedral there.
Yeah.
But then when we got to Clava Cairns,
Mm-hmm.
it was full of energy circles everywhere.
Yeah.
And that, to be what it was, which those cairns are graves,
Right.
rocks are their bodies buried within these stones.
Right.
And very interesting, but it was a way to protect bodies from animals, for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just how they did things. But the energy everywhere there was very different. Rick, did you feel any of that?
Oh yeah, that was the second time I'd been there. Yeah, that's why I kept saying we got to get you out to Clava Cairns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By the way,
I got more energy from the trees than I did the rocks.
Yeah, I did.
When I stepped into the tree circles, and I would, reach out and touch the trees, which was ancient.
Yeah.
It was wow. Yeah. The trees me were wow. I mean, the Clava Cairns, the rocks were cool. And I got a little bit, but I'm telling you, once I got out into the different circles of trees, it was like, holy mackerel. We're talking ancient.
Yeah, well,
we also went to the bridge where all the dogs jump off.
Yeah.
That was weird energy there, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I almost eaten.
You what?
Working dogs.
Oh.
Yeah. But
the son did tell me to pet one, so there's that.
Yeah, and Sultan, we also went to Balgony Castle, which is my favorite place. I've been there.
Yeah.
Probably 15 times. I've actually slept overnight in a chair over there by the big fireplace. So
Writers Museum.
Scaring people to death if you were a ghost, right?
No, that was at Lep Castle. That was in Ireland. But Kat has something interesting that I think she's hiding from you, so we should ask her. How did you like Culloden?
Y'all are mean people. No, it was a very interesting experience. That for about 3 months after I got home. But No, it was so bizarre because Rick and I were walking around. Y'all, the people from Highland Paranormal picked us up in Inverness and took us all over the place. And part of that included Culloden, which is an amazing historic site.
Mhm.
But it was the last Jacobean British battle. It was the end of the Jacobean War. The Jacobeans lost 1,400 and something people. The British lost 400. It was not a very fair balance. But when Rick and I were walking around on the paths, there's a path that goes through, and the different clans are buried together. Their stones are together. And we were just on the path, a paved path that goes through there,
Mhm.
and I got shot in my abdomen. There's no other word for it. I am not a physical medium. I'm just me. And I hunched over and I'm holding my stomach and I'm like, I just got shot. Oh my God. And Rick was with me and it was pretty dramatic, wasn't it? It was scary.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
standing there. All of a sudden, she goes, "Oh!" She grabs her stomach. And we go, "What happened?" She goes, "I got shot." And I went, "What?" Right? I'm looking around for villains and everything else, but yeah, that was something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys
that was the
left,
last.
and
That was the
Mike
last.
and I took off with Liam, and we walked the whole battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah, we walked the whole thing, and the energy came and went. I mean, it was like a swirl. Certain areas you'd walk into, and you could feel like there's a whole bunch of people around you, and then it would go away. And then you'd walk some more, and then you could just you could feel like a bunch of people were, running around you. And then it would just stop.
Well,
And it
that
was
was
that way
really
all
one
the
of
way
the
through it.
that was one of the last Jacobite battles.
Yep.
I think that was
With
the one.
Gilead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they went and the people who died, the Jacobites who died, they went and hunted their families as well and killed them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so funny. Somebody on another show was asking me about why is it so haunted in Scotland. I said, "Didn't you watch Braveheart?" I mean, these people fought face to face. You could smell what the people had for lunch, and a lot of them didn't have any real weapons because they were farmers. They come out with scythes and shovels and picks and axes, and the other guys had swords and shields. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's why there's so much there. I mean, if you're getting killed face to face, that's probably a lot of energy hanging around.
Well, and we have some comments relevant to that because Jacqueline said, "Hi from England. I've been to Culloden. It's an emotional place. It really is." And you know, the English had guns. The Scots did not. And what happened to me really felt like it was about yay big, and it was right in the center of my abdomen, and I was in pain. We actually left the battlefield for a little bit and came back, but it was and it hurt for several months after I got home. It was not just a hit and go thing. It was a lingering experience. And it was just so, everything there was ridiculously tragic. And I don't think it had to be the commander that day. The Jacobites had gone to make plans, and it was an Irishman, wasn't it, Rick, that was in charge of the battle plan there on site, and the battle ensued, and he's who told them to charge, and that's why there was quite such a slaughter there. And She also said, Rick, that her friends Eileen and Tommy mentioned you as they met up with you in Scotland. Is that Tommy from England?
No, Tommy lives not too far from Rosalind, if I think. But yeah, I know both of them very well. I've ghost hunted
Yeah.
in several places with them. Actually, Eileen went to Lep Castle and all that with us. I have a really good picture of her with all this energy swirling around her. And that was after I got out of the car where I was dying.
Yeah. You told me. Yeah, I remember that now.
Mm-hmm.
But and Tommy, I've actually ghost hunted with them. Actually, at the Labyrinth, Banshee Labyrinth, ghost
Yes.
hunted with them there. Yeah, they're nice people. They're friends of mine.
I thought Banshee Labyrinth was interesting.
Yeah, it's different.
It is different.
If you can
Very
get down that steep
close.
hill, it's fun.
Well, that
Well,
Mary King's Close was pretty. That energy was crazy.
Well, you know what's really strange about that place is my good friend used to be the manager of that, and you guys have met him, Jay Craig.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually able to go down there and ghost hunt twice with just me and him. And we also had what I called a para-unity hunt before anybody had ever heard of it. I invited my friends from Scottish Paranormal, and they had two or three people come. And I asked the people from Anubis, the people who took us to places in England, and then I asked Brian Harley to bring some from Premier Paranormal. And I told them at the start, I said, this is going to be, we're here for 4 hours. I said, here's what we're going to do. It's going to be a para-unity hunt, and here's the deal. The first 2 hours, you can't investigate with anybody on your own team. So everybody mixed it up. And all of them said, man, that was fantastic. And we got some ridiculous stuff down there. We're all standing in one of the hallways, and there's Annie's place. That's the little girl who died. And everybody brings money and dolls and everything else for her. And we're standing out there, and all of a sudden I'm looking around because I hear something. And I see the look on the three girls' faces that are with me. And I looked over and I said, you hearing something? You know, you never pause. I'm hearing this. Are you hearing it too? Because that's all they do is say yes. So
Yeah.
I just said, I'm hearing something. They go, we are too. I said, well, what are you hearing? And all three of them at the same time said, it's a heartbeat. And I mean, it was very clearly a heartbeat. It wasn't from anywhere around us. It's like just up in the rafter kind of things. So we also heard people running on the floor above us when the whole place was locked. You know, so that was pretty cool place.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, but I've been lucky enough. And then we were walking up and we saw the door handle jiggling like someone was trying to get through. That was a pretty cool place. But I thought, you know, these people are always taking me somewhere, and I thought, yeah, here's a chance to get them somewhere. So that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. You know, it really is so neat when we get a chance to interact with people from other teams, other groups. I don't investigate with an actual team anymore. I just kind of go and do my own thing and have great experiences with my friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's really, to me, it's very special to be able to do this. But I love interacting and getting to be with other people too. It's just unbelievable.
Well, that's why the Scottish Paranormal likes having you guys around. It means they don't have to spend as much time with me.
Well, where
said,
were we at that jail we were at this last time?
Sterling.
Sterling jail, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we went this time.
Yeah.
But we had been there before, and you had an experience when we went there the first time.
Mm-hmm. It was just odd. It was just an odd thing. Everybody was, they were doing that experiment upstairs, you know, the psychic thing and writing things down and what they saw and stuff. I didn't do it because I was using my SLS trying to capture, because I could feel something in there. And it was just like always, look up. Everything I was capturing was above me, looking down.
Oh, there was the guy that was outside the door.
and there was a guy standing outside the door looking in. I got that several times. And
Yeah,
then,
who they were talking to, wasn't it?
yeah, hmm that was, I didn't do the psychic thing like everybody else. I don't do the same thing everybody else does. You know that,
Yeah,
but I was
a bit of a
getting,
rebel.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
So
Brenda should have given you a clue.
but every time I looked up, it was crazy. I would see something looking down every time.
Were they
Every
around?
Yep.
Okay.
It was up. They were up looking down, or they were standing to the side looking in. It was, and everybody kept saying, that they were seeing this or seeing that. And I'm thinking, yeah, they're standing all around here. There's one right outside the door there. I didn't say anything because everybody was concentrating on what they were supposed to be doing. So I kept my mouth shut. But I'm thinking, yeah, there is somebody standing there.
Yeah.
Just so you know, there is somebody standing there.
Do you mind if I answer a question from, or to answer something to Sultan?
No.
Hey, Sultan, you talk about Bosworth Field in England. You should try going to Bolton Priory. That is one of the absolutely most haunted places I've ever been. I mean, that was blow your socks off if you go there. So that's just a little hint.
Where is that?
Bolton Priory, it's in England.
Where?
Can't remember off the top of my head.
You didn't
Not
know there would be pop quizzes, did you?
It's not very far from Liverpool.
Okay.
And we went to another place, which I got to tell you, this is weird because Amanda, who is the head of Anubis, she and I were downstairs in the basement area of a theater. And this wasn't a movie theater. This is where they had all the stuff to draw the curtains and everything else. And they had a pipe about this big around that went across to make it two halves, and you couldn't go on the other side. And the people that had us there said, you're not allowed on that side. So I'm standing right against the pipe and I'm looking around and I'm looking over here and I turn around and this is what I see. Somebody like this, like they're looking at a K2 or looking at their phone and about 5 feet away from me, right? And they're on the other side of the pipe where they're not supposed to be. So I turned around to say something to Mandy and she's looking at me and her eyes are like this, right? And I looked back and there's nothing there. And then I turned back, looked, she goes, you saw him too, didn't you? I said, yeah, I sure did. Could have patted him on the head. He was like,
wow.
that was Norwich Theater, if you ever get around that area, Sultan.
Nice.
Well,
Cool.
we got to do Writers Museum, and you had an experience there.
That was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she got another experience. You sure you want to go back to Scotland? You got shot, you got slapped in the head.
Well, I figure that I've been 2 other times and nothing like that happened at all. And I have no idea. I mean, because I am not a physical medium. I'm not. I don't have those experiences. I can't say that anymore. But, when we went to the Writers Museum, we had gone up to the top and there were 2 rooms there and both filled with, tables of artifacts and stuff. And I was in one of them while y'all were getting the stuff from, J. Craig and Kat, and her name was Kat too. So, I came out of the room I'd been in because there was a little room in between them and was just standing in the door where y'all were. And I was just, listening because it was interesting and I love learning. So I'm just standing there, minding my own business, listening and learning. And I get whacked in the back of the head. It felt like somebody hit me with a driver, a golf club. The sharp edges, probably a wedge more. It's like that sharp, thin edge. But I was just like, God. So
They're afraid they'd hit you into the bunker, so they used the higher club.
yeah, but it was shut up. But it was right at the base of my skull, and I actually it felt like I was bleeding. I mean, I actually put my hand behind my head because I thought I was bleeding. And Lori is across the room from me, and I'm still standing in the doorway trying to decide if I'm going to die or not. And she's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "Somebody just hit me." And, you know, I got hit in the head or whatever I said. I was in shock. Like I said, I'm not an evidentiary medium, but it was really the most, up until I got shot, it was the most bizarre thing that I've had happen. And
you found out that somebody did.
yes, because I asked, did somebody die from a head injury? And Jay Craig looked over at Kat like, because she is the tour person there. And she was like, yes. And yeah, he slipped going out of the house and hit his head on the marble stair. And they brought him back in and took care of him until, you know, he died there. And they had paid all of his medical expenses and just took care of him. And the paperwork about that, you know, the historic paperwork, the bills, whatever, was in the room that I started in when I was in there by myself. And so I probably should have stayed in there and not, you know, maybe he felt like maybe he was trying to talk to me, right? And I didn't have to help me do that. So, because that wasn't supposed to be happening. We were just doing the tour at that point.
Do you remember when we were in Balgoni and you said something about getting slapped in the head? And I went, yeah, I got slapped in the head too. And they all went, yeah, we saw when that happened.
Yes.
Like, thanks.
Yes. And, you know, that's one of the things that we have investigated a lot of places together. We've, you know, and if we couldn't be together, we've all investigated the same places, right? But what is so interesting to me is that I don't know if it's our energy is similar because we're kind of similar people. That's why we're such good friends, or what it is that is an attraction for spirit, right? But there is an attraction for spirit with us. And it blows my mind sometimes. And, you know, I would much prefer not getting my brains knocked out or getting, you know, shot in the gut.
Yeah,
And
gut shot.
it was like a mullet. What are those balls?
Musket.
A musket ball. It was about that size, and it was like right under, you know, under my chest, right as it goes to my abdomen. And I would never want to really be gut shot ever. Thank you. No. But it was
well, it's just like in Inverness when Rick had to sit down and made the guy mad. I mean, you know,
set on a guy.
Made him mad.
No, they had forced me to walk. I needed a knee replacement. My knee's really bad. And we'd walked probably close to 8 or 9 miles that day on your little walking machine there. And we're walking through this one graveyard, and I've got my K2 meter out, which I always have. And I'm not getting anything, right? Zip. And finally, I'm walking along, and there was a girl from Highland who was a friend of Highland Paranormal, and she was with me. And finally, I'm looking around for a chair somewhere because my legs are about ready to give out. I mean, on the ground, give out. And I looked, and there was a thing that looked like a coffee table. So I just said, look, I have, you know, no disrespect, but if I don't sit down right now on you, I'm going to fall on you, right? So I sat down, and instantly my K2 went to 5 lights. Boom! Instantly, and the girl's eyes looked up because it hadn't gone off all night, right? And I said, "Are you mad at me because I sat down?" Boom! 5 lights again, right? I said, "Do you mind? Can I just sit here for 30 seconds so my legs, you know, get a little rest?" And it kind of twinkled between 2 and 3, like he was thinking about it. And then after like 20, 30 seconds, it goes 5 lights again. I said, "Are you telling me to get off?" Bam, 5 lights. I mean, instant answers. And the girl's freaking out. And I looked up and I said, All right, I'll tell you what, do it again right now and I'll leave. Bam, 5 lights, right? And she goes, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to leave. So
Yeah.
I've never had anything that much. Matter of fact, Kat had to talk me down after those 2 days, because the first day was Balgoni, the second day was this,
Yeah.
right? And I had no doubt I was talking to whoever was in the casket down below. So I just told her, I said, I'm thinking about quitting ghost hunting. And you said, no, you won't, because now you know for sure. I was like,
Yeah. Now you know.
yeah, that's
Well,
true.
you talked to him again when we went back this
Yeah,
year.
but there was some cross contamination there.
Right.
They had there was a phone
The tower.
company across the way, but you know what was so cool? It was almost always on 3. Wherever I went in the whole place, always on 3, and it hadn't been like that the time before.
Yeah.
So when I went in there and everybody's on 3 and everything else, and everybody finally just walks away, and I said, well, I just wanted to tell you, I didn't mean sitting on you, and thanks for letting me sit there. And it goes, blink, all 5 lights. I was like, you've been sandbagging me, you.
Yeah.
But he did answer me again, so that was pretty cool.
Mm.
By the
That
way, there's a thing down there from Nabokov that
Yes.
says, have you ever heard of Agartha? And if that's the Viking queen, I've heard of her, but I don't know if that's who Nabokov is thinking of. Maybe it's a place
Well,
also. Huh?
We'll find out.
Yeah. But yeah, Agartha was one of the ones that evidently some people did bad things and killed her husband, and she kind of said, okay, it's on. Yeah. That's in the book I'm putting together of all the people.
Yeah.
All the badass women in history.
I sent you somebody today.
Did you? I didn't get it.
It's in your messenger.
Okay.
But it's so interesting, because with you doing these, researching these women to include, I keep coming across them, and it's not something that is surprising, because I do know my history, and I do know that there are a lot of women who have changed history and who were major players in history. But since you've been writing this book, I have been, they're like jumping out at me.
Yeah,
And,
there's a lot of them now.
but I think the word is out that you're writing this book, is what I'm saying. Because people are just coming and they're like, hello, here's my information. And it's like,
I kind of get that. I get like maybe a dozen a day just pop up. I'm like,
yeah.
idiot. Right? You
Yeah.
know, my favorite one is Madeline Bachmeier. I think
Yeah.
she was in Germany. And this guy took her young daughter, raped her and killed her. And she was in the courtroom. She walked in, pulled out a gun, and shot him 7 times and killed him dead. I was like, go, Mom.
Yeah. That's what
Mama
moms
bear.
do.
Yeah, it's well, that's what people. I was explaining that to Kat one day. I said, everybody's saying, the men are always this, the men are always that. I said, women are getting shortchanged. I said, you do realize that in hunting, the lionesses are the ones who do the hunting. The lion just kind of hangs around, has a beer, so until things get really out of hand, then
They
he'll
don't
jump
even
in.
take care of the kids.
Yeah.
So the different lionesses of the packs go.
But there's so many women that have done phenomenal things, like Hedy Lamarr.
Yes.
She was one of the most beautiful women in the world, the famous actress from Samson and Delilah. Obviously, she was Delilah. Victor Mature was Samson, and she and another guy together invented this frequency hopping thing that helped pull out, say, where the submarines were, and during World War II, and that's one of the things that helped win the war. Well, that technology is now in the Bluetooth garage door openers. She pretty much launched this whole century.
She did.
Mm-hmm.
So
and she was a Hollywood person.
Yeah, people just don't know. They don't delve into things too much. But yeah, it's really pretty cool.
Well, it's different because you're actually writing a book on the topic. So you are delving heavily into that. But
I'm trying to compile the book, and then I'm going to have to research all the people to make sure it's true,
yeah.
and then use my own writing to do it because I don't want to look like I'm just, stealing from other people.
Yeah.
Although I did have that thing about the Playboy pictures, but that's another story.
Hey, Playboy models have brains too.
That's true. That is true.
A lot of rocket scientists around in there.
Mm-hmm.
Got to pay for college, I guess. But it's some of the things that we have seen are really interesting, and I'm trying to figure out how to get back to my photos. But as my glasses try to jump off the table.
Well, I enjoyed Cool Ross.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
And
cool.
That was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. That was
I
fun.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it until I found out that I had a nickname. Cool Ross.
Well, I have to share this. Okay, this is my favorite picture from Cool Russ. Are y'all ready?
I'm
We're
ready.
ready.
Since I'm a whole nation apart from both of you. This was after a day of investigation. We had been through all of Chorus, and Chorus is very small, and this tour operator decided that was just where we needed to spend 7 hours.
Yeah.
So these are my two best friends, and this was after trying to stay busy investigating and experiencing everything, including a house with the windows were eyes, so the house had eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And it really was a special place.
Well, there's more to it than you guys got to see. I went back there with Gregor, and we went with Linda Whiteford, and she took us into the toll booth place.
Yeah.
Which was supposed to be horrendously haunted. And Lee was with us, who's a very good psychic. And we've been up there for about an hour and a half. And this is why I like him so much. Gregor turns to him and he says, "Lee, are you picking up anything?" And if you go something long enough, you'll hear every single psychic just about say, "Well, I feel something manifesting in the corner. I think it's a woman in white." And it's like, he just looks over and he goes, "No."
Yeah.
That's
not like him.
Well, that picture there that you've got up, that was the night when we were at the we had to sleep in the single bed that we about killed ourselves in, and Rick was up in the penthouse.
Yeah.
That was that.
Well,
that
Rick was
from,
yeah. But that was I'll tell you what, if you want to take tours, that's fine. Just don't take mysterious ones.
Yeah.
Because you'll get left on the side of the road and abandoned to a hotel where nobody knows where you are, and
had bed bugs.
Yeah, Lori didn't know about bed bugs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
I do now.
Bring luggage in until we check. And so she's like, what? So yeah, they were there. Mm-hmm. And in Scotland, they will close you down if you have bed bugs. Mm-hmm. So when I went back downstairs, I was like, we're not staying here. And then Lori found us a hotel and she's ready to flee the city. And I'm like, we're in a different country. We can't just leave. We have to get in touch with somebody. And finally, I got a message to Rick, and, he calls back and he's like, come. Yeah, everybody said, come here. And the owner of the hotel that we had paid to stay in, a 1400 beautiful hotel, put Rick up in his personal suite because Rick was giving us his room because they didn't have any other rooms. It was also during the British Open. They scheduled a ghost tour during a British Open. So that was fun. But it was really a cool bunch of beautiful people at that hotel. They put
Yeah.
Rick, they put us in different rooms. The next 2 nights we were there, we were staying. We would have had to stay in that bed bug hotel for 3 nights if
Mhm.
we didn't
Get out of there.
have our
Yeah,
own
the
bed.
manager of that place, Joe.
Mhm.
Joe Smiley.
Joe Smiley, my hero.
Smiley, he was a hero, that guy.
He is a hero.
Mm-hmm.
He will always be my hero.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
One
my
of-
favorite part about that is when we were all standing around and the lady that was running this tour, she goes, well, I want to put so-and-so in that room that, they got out there. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry, it's already been taken.
Yeah.
And she goes, by whom? Right? And Joe looks and he points and goes, by him.
Yeah.
I got it the next night for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun.
That was fun.
That was fun.
And when we went to I think it was the day we went to chorus. That was when no. Anyway, we had gone somewhere and came back, and
I'll be back in a minute. I got to take some pills.
okay. But
Okay.
that's when they gave us the next night in a different room
Mm-hmm.
that he had wanted to get to. I mean, I'm not kidding, guys. Joe Smiley is the best person, not just hotel manager, but the best person.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent him a statue of a knight from the night shop.
Yep.
So it was very nice. And Lori, I'm gonna pull up some stuff. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pull that one back. There's Inverness.
I was gonna say
Because
that's in.
I see these very well because they're
Let me
small.
Let me put my glasses on so I can see a little better.
This was at this was in Culloden, not Culloden. This was in
Was that Van?
Cloris. This is the
Oh,
ceiling,
Okay.
and this is another picture of some of the art there. This is another room. This was in the king's room, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Those were those witches' marks, remember, on the fireplace?
Yep. Over the fireplace. Yep.
And do you remember the story behind those?
Not off the top of my head. I remember Linda talking about them,
Yeah.
but I
just-
can't remember. I just remember they said that they put those marks there,
Weren't they to keep witches from coming down the chimney?
or coming into the house. Well, maybe it was the chimney. It kept them out of the house, is what it was supposed to.
That was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about that town was so neat because I just did not anticipate how cool that was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying. Carl, can you save me from myself? Well, there's Rick. Hello, Rick. I have shrunk.
Where'd everybody go?
We're hiding.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know what I did. And I can't see Carl.
Paging Carl.
So
I'm in the show. Okay. And now Cat's gone.
Well, I can see all the people leaving. Oh, that's the guy from Air, isn't it?
no, this is the guy from Chorus.
Oh yeah, the cross-dressing colonel.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's the unicorn from course. This is the unicorn that allowed me to learn that the unicorn is the national animal of Scotland.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that was a neat thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's where we were. There's where we were. There's where we were. There's where we were.
Oh.
This was so bizarre to me. And this was, what is her name?
I don't know.
This is the witch who is buried under the sea in Culross.
Yeah, she
And-
was never convicted.
Mm-mm.
She was never convicted, but she confessed that she was. So she couldn't be buried in a graveyard, but they couldn't burn her at the stake because she was never convicted. So when she died, they had to put her there, out there, and bury
Yeah.
her.
And that right above her is a huge stone to keep her under
Mhm.
there.
Yep.
And it has her name on it and the
Mhm.
dates.
Mm-hmm.
And these people were
Mikey
just,
threw flowers out there to her.
yep.
Yeah, Mikey had his
Drone.
little drone and went out there and put flowers on it. That was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I had a picture of the flowers on it, but I guess I don't. And this was in the Abbey in Culross.
Mm-hmm.
So
That was a hike and a half.
that was a hike and a half, but it was so cool. And there you are at Cat's Close. Just in case anybody missed that was named after me, even though it's spelled wrong. And this place,
That was a Huntington Castle.
yes, and that was an interesting location.
Mm-hmm.
Lori, I don't see you.
I'm covered up by the picture.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Whoops.
Cover me up by the picture.
Well, I don't have a choice of where it goes. But
Yeah.
that Huntington that's the place that had the big keys, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes. And that is another one of those Outlander castles. And, I was in Scotland for the ghost hunting and because Rick was the talent. So
Yeah.
obviously we were going to go.
Mm-hmm.
My husband would not fuss about my international travel if Rick was there. So
Right.
it was so funny because I didn't know that any of these places were Outlander
Locations.
places.
Yeah.
I knew they were haunted locations. So
Mhm.
I was all about that.
Oh yeah.
You know,
And
it was,
Natalie Brumke was crazy about the Outlanders stuff.
yes,
Mhm.
Natalie is still an Outlanders fiend. So
You know what's funny? Do you remember when I think it was Dunrobin? Is that the name of the one that had the great big,
English Garden.
yeah, it was huge. And she and Jay were looking out over that. And I walked up and I said, I don't know if you're interested in this, Natalie, but there's the tour person over there showing all the pictures of the Outlanders.
Natalie?
I
No.
looked over at Jay and I went, she's pretty quick, isn't she? She just bolted right over there.
and now Jay was who started Ghost Hunters, right?
One of them, yeah. And Kathleen was involved in it too,
Yeah.
I believe. Jay also started Ghost Mine.
That was a good show.
Yeah, and he's been involved in the paranormal about as much as you can get.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
he's one of the best humans I know.
Yeah, he really is. And Natalie's a good Mrs. Human. Yeah. She's really sweet too.
So
Um,
I'm trying to keep up with where I am on these pictures. It's difficult to tell.
well, you know what's so cool is when we got to ghost hunt all the time at the LAPD museum because Jay was running that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I must have bamboozled him because he always invited me to run the thing every time.
Yeah.
But boy, that place was very haunted. And then they got new people in there. They don't want anybody to think it's haunted. It's too late. They already know.
Yeah. Is that where you met Mikey, or did you know Mikey before that?
I met Mikey years and years ago, and I didn't remember meeting him. I met him out at this one thing where I was giving a speech, and he came up to talk to me. But
Yeah.
RA was there too, and I only got to talk to him for maybe 3 minutes. But the next time I got invited to this one ghost hunt at this Colonel Allensworth, and I got there, and Mikey was there. Now, I don't think Mikey would be upset about this, but Mikey at the time weighed like 440 pounds. And we had some stuff that was really hardcore, right? And I could see that it really bothered him. So I said, come with me. And he goes, where are we going? I said, we're going outside. I got to have a little talk with you, young man. So I just told him, I said, what is
Rick McCollum talks.
Yeah, I said, what's the problem? And he goes, well, I don't know. I'm afraid if I don't act the right way, then I really want to go somewhere with this and stuff like that. I said, well, listen to me. Just be yourself. And he goes, really? What might be myself? I said, yeah, be yourself. I don't like anybody. I like you. Right? So just be yourself. And he goes, can you give me any other suggestions? I said, people will take a lot more better look at you if you lose 200 pounds. Right? And he's lost more than that. And he's one of the best ghost hunters around and one of the absolute nicest people.
All of that.
Mm-hmm.
He just needed someone to just say, hey, I like you. Just knock it off.
Yeah.
You know?
And he really is. He is so innovative with his methodologies. He's who had the ghost tape. Yeah, the
tracer.
Tracer, thank you. He is one of the best evidence catchers on his reviews that I know. He's just a great investigator. And he's a great friend. I'm so thankful. Yeah, that's one of my primary reasons that I love to travel, because, I'm so thankful to have met the different people with what we do. And there's nothing like being able to get the chance to come together again and be at a different location, or even the same locations.
Mm-hmm.
When we were at South Pittsburgh, Rick, when you were out there, I investigated South Pittsburgh, or used to investigate it a lot. And it's one of my favorite places to go. Lori and I had one of the most extreme experiences ever there. And not extreme as in dangerous.
No, just very odd.
But I never leave South Pittsburgh Hospital and outside of this, between Nashville and Chattanooga, Tennessee, and it's fantastic. And Ronnie D also owns Harriman Hospital, so he has different locations there in Tennessee. But hi Ingrid, and it's so interesting because I like to go there, and I had gone to show Jennifer Malik, another friend, the place. We were just going to look at it outside so that she could just say that she had seen it and see what it was. And Ronnie calls me and he's like, why are you at my hospital? And I said, I have a friend that wants to see it, right? And he was like, well, take her in. And I'm like, well, I wasn't planning to do that. And he was like, take her in. So we did. We went in and walked around, and as we were getting ready to leave, the kitchen smelled like coffee, right? We hadn't made any coffee. I don't do that. If somebody's nice enough to let me in, I'm not using their stuff. But so that was an interesting thing before we left. And so we got in my car, and I'm taking her back home to Nashville so that I can go home. And we get about, I guess, 10 miles down the interstate, and my car reeks of coffee. And I'm like, I think the coffee man came with us. And she was like, oh, he's just following me. I'll send him back. And I'm like, well, make sure you take him out of my car. Okay, because yeah, he can't go home with me. My husband gets freaked out when things come home with me. So so that was fun. But when you and I were there, Lori, Rick, I don't know if we've told you this or not. I bet we have because it's so cool. But we're sitting there and I'm fooling with equipment because my things always mess with my electronics. So I'm sitting there and I'm fiddling with it and I'm doing this, that, and the other. Got recorders going, got all this stuff happening. It's hotter than blue blazes. They've got a fan that runs all the time by the second floor nurses station. Well, Lori's on one left seat and I'm opposite her, and there's a table between us. And we've got equipment everywhere. And so I'm fooling with stuff and I'm fooling with stuff. And Lori goes, still, just still.
Mm-hmm.
And finally it dawns on me that she's not moving. She's not talking. She talks a lot. She's not talking. We're gotcha. But we're sitting there and we're just doing our stuff. And she's still not moving. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then I see it at the window. There's not a window open. It's not a broken window. There's a fan blowing behind Lori in front of the nurses station, blowing toward the window. So this little punch ball, that has the rubber band and you bop it, well, comes from the window to the
fan.
It's going to the fan that's blowing against it. This thing weighs less than a feather, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm watching it. And I guess I look like two-side order of grits because you were watching me watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, what the hey? And it got to the fan and it kind of held itself against the fan. And then it shut off and it came between us, between the table and the couches. And I was like, holy crow.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like,
just wait, just watch.
And it did it again.
Right back around.
And then it did it again.
And
right?
it did it again.
Oh my gosh, you are so strong. And it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
I mean, not ever, probably ever. But I mean, the fact that it was intelligent, it was working to get our attention. It got it. Yeah, I mean, when she goes still and quiet, guys, something's happening because she's not often either of those. We're kind of similar in that way. But it was the coolest thing. And Rick, it was something that blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that. And Ronnie called us. And, he's like, what you doing? And I'm like, we're at the nurses. He said, I know. They were watching us. And I'm like, are you doing that? He's like, no, I don't have any way to do that.
Did you ever see the video that I got at the nurses station?
I don't know.
The nurses station is off to this side, and this is like the foyer kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Kane.
Oh my gosh, the legs.
The legs, go. Yeah. You can see the shadow of someone walking across the.
You can see the leg.
Right there.
You can see the leg.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the wildest thing.
You want to know the funniest thing that ever happened, though? I got this on film. I should show it. We were filming it for something later on, and we were down in the basement. And when we were there, it was a lot different than it was when I went back there with you guys. But we were down there, and I had my night vision camera on. It's really dark, right? And one of the guys says, "Can you make a sound?" Right? And I'm looking through there, and I see Kane. He trips over a bucket. Right? The guy goes, "Can you make a sound?" And he goes, "Bam!" And I said, "Or just trip Kane." And you can hear him. You're going to go through 100 miles. It left. That's funny. That was the same place. I think I told you guys this. I had set my camera up looking on the second floor nurse's station, looking down the hallway. And down the hallway at the very last place is a place that was supposedly an older lady who died in there. And you'd see her come out once in a while. And we were watching, and I didn't take my camera there. I put it on a box down looking into that room. And we went back. We're all standing down there. And I'm looking down there and I said, you guys see this? And there's a ball, an orb going up and down, right? Almost like a flashlight thing. We're looking at it. And Kane's going, no, it's not, it's nothing. It's mindless, hypnotism. Everybody's, mind control. I said, all right, here's what we're going to do. Everybody shout out at once which way this ball's going, right? And they're all saying down, up, sideways. It's going, they're saying exactly where it's going, right? So I said, wow, that's something weird. I thought someone had my camera and was lifting it up and down, because when you have the screen open, it's light.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, I'm going down there. So we all go walking down. I pick it up and I run it back. It hadn't moved, hadn't picked up off the box. It had not moved at all, right? It hadn't filmed anything. So we're walking back and I said, yeah, that's really bizarre. So, what must have been something else. And the one guy goes like this, he goes, well, it had to be on this side. It wasn't down there because there's a big black plastic dumpster in the way, right? We wouldn't have been able to see it. So it had to be on this side. And as we're walking back, I told this group that was with us, I said, hey guys, your camera that you got on the ground just moved, just did a 90-degree turn to the left. And he goes, well, no, we didn't see it. I said, go look. So they walked in, they said, wow, our camera moved. I said, I just told you that. I saw it move. God, what is wrong with you people? But they were really cool. But yeah, Ronnie D's place is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got to get back there one day.
He saved that place because it was so bad. I was there the night before they closed it, and I didn't know how unhealthy it was, but it got shut down for black mold and everything else. And then taxes, it was going for auction, and probably it was going to wind up pulled down. And Ronnie D bought this place. And not going to lie, I don't even know how long it took him and his volunteers to get this place ready. But you could have eaten off the floors. It was so clean. And I had gone to do a work day up there, and we were what they called the chapel. There was a bathroom down there. I didn't even know it had a bathroom down there, but it was pews and everything else. And it was pretty gross. And people, these volunteers, guys, they made this place so clean and so safe. Ronnie was just adamant that it was going to be safe. And so I was cleaning in the bathroom, finished. We were walking back out across the open area, going back to the main building. And I didn't even know that I had gotten an EVP. I just always have a recorder running. So I always have a lot of stuff to listen to when I get time. But as we're walking back out of that, what they call the chapel, we're walking out of there, going back over. And as we're going out the door, because I can hear the door, this man says, pretty good, huh? And I was like, I didn't even answer him. God, I didn't even answer him. But yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that you get there. My very first time there, I had like a 30-minute K2 talk with a young mother who had had her child there, and there had been a fire at her home. I mean, all this stuff is just coming through conversation with a K2. And, it was, if I didn't hit it right, she didn't answer me at all. But it was obviously intelligent conversation. Old South Pittsburgh was worth saving. And Ronnie D doing that really mattered in the paranormal community. And he will always be one of my heroes in the paranormal community because he cared enough to put as many, and he lived in Chicago at the time. He was long distance owner. And he did that, and he did that with Harriman also. And it's just, he's one of the special people in our field. So If you ever get a chance to go to one of his locations, take it, because Rick was talent there and Lori and I went, and it was still great. I mean,
Mhm.
it's as long as that man owns these locations, you'll be safe when you go there, and you're going to have activity, because the spirits appreciate it when somebody takes care of their place, just like our friend at the old potting jail.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, I have to tell you guys a story.
okay.
Okay.
And unfortunately, you guys weren't there. It was down in Tombstone. But Mikey and I were two of the people that were leading guests around. And we go into this one place that used to be the morgue,
Mm.
right? And we're inside there, and there's this kid that's like 10 maybe. And he's got on little voice recorders and all. It's like he stopped and he got the Hasbro Ghost Hunter starter kit. I mean, he had all this stuff. And I told him, I
That's
said,
cute.
and Mikey says to me, he goes, yeah, that was interesting when you bitch slapped the 10-year-old. I said, I did not bitch slap the 10-year-old. I said, I asked him if he wanted to ask a question. And he starts talking for like 3 or 4 minutes. And I went, oh, okay, hold it. I said, you have to ask a question. You got to give him time to answer. Everybody, I had told everybody, I said, if, you know, when you're doing this, if you're not used to this, you got to ask them and give them time to answer.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, ask if, because there was a little boy that supposedly got kicked in the head by a horse and died, named Danny. And we got this on tape. And I said, ask if there's any little boys here that can play with you. Right. And he goes, yes. And he goes, ask him the name. And he goes, what's your name? And it goes, Danny. And everybody goes, whoa. Right. So right then their thing ended and off they went. So the next group came in. I said, well, I'm going to start this off with a question. The little kid's name was Lincoln, you know, because he introduced himself. So then I said, Danny, do you remember the name of the little kid that was talking to you? And he goes, Lincoln. We got both of those on the thing. So sometimes you got to bitch slap the kid to get him started.
You do that to people a lot.
But you know what? They went back, the father and little kid, the next day to the people running the Paracon. And they said, we just wanted to say that we had the most wonderful time with Rick and that other guy, whatever his name is, Mikey. You know, he said they were so kind to him, you know, other than the. No, but that was really cool. They said that was by far the best time they had.
I think that's so cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
People have opinions on kids investigating.
Like when we were walking up to Calton Hill, that weird thing that happened to us on that.
Well,
Out of the
explain.
blue. I mean,
Explain, redhead.
well, I mean, which time was that? That was the first time?
Yeah, the
Yes,
first time.
when you had stayed.
Yeah, it was the first time because I couldn't walk.
Well,
and I was taking my time.
well, for the people listening, there's hedges on each side of this walkway that goes uphill, right? There's no stairs, but there's a rod in the middle, you know, a handrail.
Mhm.
And Lori was ahead of me and I was walking and we're going up and I heard somebody right over my left shoulder and kind of, you know, in a gruff voice said, pardon me. And I was going to turn around and say, yeah, I'll pardon you, but don't come up here acting like a tough guy. Right. And I turn around and there's absolutely nobody there. I look down and there's 75 yards of nobody. Right. And I turned around and I said, did you hear something? She goes, yeah, I heard the guy say, pardon me. And I said, turn around. She turns around. She goes, there's nobody here. I said, well, there was a second ago.
Because when I heard the voice, I didn't look up because I was just trying to navigate because my feet and my knees were hurting really bad. I just kept scooting closer to the handrail. And then when Rick stopped and said, did you hear that? I said, yeah, I'm trying to get out of the way. He said, turn around. And there was absolutely no place. I mean, there was nobody. They couldn't have jumped in the bushes. There's no.
Those bushes are not like, you know, little trees. These are like,
no.
They spelled you, bounced you right up.
Scottish hedges.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was another good one.
Yeah, there is very few places in Scotland that you would probably get an EVP if you had a recorder going all the time, because all of Scotland is haunted.
It is.
Or where you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
seriously, there's
I have
no.
to tell you, I have to tell a funny story.
Okay.
Lori and I were walking through the cemetery at St. Andrews, the real famous one.
Oh yeah.
And we're walking around the corner. All of a sudden, this car pulls up and goes, boom! Right? And down she goes. I'm standing there. She goes, get down, get down. I'm looking at her. I said, will you get up? Right? She goes, they were shooting. So I get up. I said, we're 100 yards away. If it was a pistol, they couldn't hit us at 5,000 shots from there. Right? And I said, second off, nobody in Scotland has a gun. The backfire. Get off the ground. But she hit it like, she was one of the Marines, but boom, down she went.
She's former law enforcement.
Yeah.
No, I almost tackled him down to get him on the ground, but I didn't.
Yeah, I would have just fell down, hurt my other knee. But yeah, that was funny too. All of a sudden, there she goes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when we were out at Blackness Castle, do you remember when all of a sudden it started raining so hard?
Oh,
That's what I told you. I almost fell over.
Well, we were walking along, and I put my arm on. I said, "Hold my arm," and she puts her hand on there like we're going to the prom. I said, "No, put your arm in here and elbow up with me and hold tight." And she goes, "But I don't know." Woof, and her feet start to go off of her, and I go, yank her straight up, and she goes, "Okay."
She is not easy to get to do things if she doesn't think she needs to.
No.
But you figured out that you did need that one.
That was a lesson learner right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Blackness was cool. I had the best time in there, and it's right on the River Firth, and it's the bridge that goes over there is the Forth of Firth, which I've always wanted to see. And so we're just like, guy tries to hack our heads off. That was fun. But it was so interesting because, I am so geeked out. I've got my raincoat on. I've got my backpack on. I've got my equipment in my hands. I'm walking through. I'm doing everything. Got my hair up. And I'm just having the best time. I didn't get squat there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get squat there.
Yeah.
But it was
a
fun.
cool place. It was a cool place.
But I looked across I was up on a parapet, and I looked across, and Mikey's on the other parapet, and I'm like, hey, meet you down there.
I got pictures of that. I was on the bottom.
Yeah.
I didn't climb. I had my.
Well, you know what I remember when you said Mikey?
Yeah.
When Lori, because Lori had bad feet before she had all this surgery. Now she runs around like a little gazelle, right?
She works out a lot, so she can.
Yes. So I'm standing back there. We're in one of the vaults, underground, and there's this cement beam running across by the steps, and I see Mikey, being the ultimate gentleman, helping her up, and he's coming up backwards. And I looked up and I went, "Oh, crap!" And I went scooting over there real quick because I knew when he stood up, he's going to hit his head in the cement thing. And I just got there as he hit his head. He went plunk, and he started to fall, which would he would have fallen on her and stuff. And I grabbed him by his coat and went. I was just holding him, and then he goes, "Oh, I'm okay." I was like, "Good, I can't hold you up more, you big slug."
It was. Go ahead.
What I was thinking is when we were at Edinburgh Castle. I did you see, the weird stuff that was on my camera stuff?
No, nobody shared with me.
Yes, and we are good friends, believe it or not.
Yeah, I know. Listen to him. Here we go.
By the way, do you remember the saying that I told you guys after we did the tour? And I said, you can't put that in there. Just think about Scotland. I'll tell you one thing about going to Scotland. You're going to want to go back.
Mm-hmm.
And we have.
So now they've gone. I'm going. You know what? I'm going on my 14th time.
I believe it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get to go this year because I'm trying to get my condo fixed, updated. So
Yeah,
the
but
money
you know what?
why.
Scotland will still be there the next year.
Yeah,
That's
well,
true. I liked my favorite place I like to stay at in Scotland is St. Andrews at
Yeah.
Oh
the
yeah.
university. That's my favorite.
well,
I mean,
and
I like Edinburgh, but I really like St.
yeah,
Andrews.
I do too. If I had to live in one of the two places, it would be in St. Andrews.
yes, the
But I'd
problem
have to pretend to
everybody
be a student.
lives in St. Andrews.
Yeah, that St. Andrews is really something. And talk about something paranormal. I don't know what it is, but that beach, there's just something about it.
Yeah,
You just go and sit down and you're like, oh, I'm home.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and
that's how I felt when you first took me over there. We crossed that little bridge thing
Mhm.
and you kept talking. You said when you get over there and you see that beach, it's gonna change everything. And you just kept talking, and finally I just said, "Shut up, let me have my moment," because it
he
was
says
like,
that to me a lot.
she does say that to you a lot.
yeah,
Shut up.
shut up. And it was like that is one of the few places I ever walked and saw that moved my basically soul. I mean, it was
Yeah.
like, holy mackerel, holy mackerel. This is home. This was home for me. It was like, you're home. You're back. This is,
Yeah,
whatever part of my soul was lived there or something. Just like Bannockburn. I had been there. I mean, I
Yeah,
could feel that I had been there, you know.
yeah.
well, I do
But
love that beach. I mean, I go out and sit
oh,
on that same bench all the time and just watch. You
yeah,
know what I really like is watching the parents play with the kids.
Because they do.
They
mm-hmm,
do. If you
mm-hmm,
ever go to Scotland and see a family walking down the street and they've got younger kids, they're always holding hands. I mean, it's
mm-hmm. And the
Yeah.
doggies. There's always doggies running on the beach
yeah,
playing.
except for in Roslyn when they try and eat your apple turnover.
Well, that was not the beach, and that was a Rottweiler.
Mm-hmm.
It was walking with his mom.
No, it was with his dad.
No, that was his mom.
Well, you're
No,
talking about when we were in the Glen.
I'm
One
talking
that
about.
He's
beat me.
talking about he was in Roslyn at sitting at the park bench in
Yeah, I
Roslyn.
showed you the park bench where I sit in Roslyn.
Oh, I
Mhm.
thought you were talking about the one that was down in the woods when we were hiking.
That was
No,
in the
no,
Glen.
no, no. No, I was sitting on this bench, and I got on Sundays I would go over there and I would get this apple turnover, and I'm sitting there, and here comes this dog with a guy, older guy, right? And he comes around, and the dog charges and takes a chomp out of my apple turnover, and the guy's still walking. And I yelled, I said, "Hey, come get your dog! He's trying to eat my breakfast," right? And the guy comes back and he starts, "Don't you effing talk to my dog!" And he flips me off, right? And he looks down, then he looks back up, and I'm standing right in front of him. And I went, "Say it again." And he looked at me like this. I said, "Yeah, say it again. Now that I'm here, go ahead, say it again." I said, "You're yelling at me when your dog just stole my breakfast and he's not on a leash, right?" So he just
Mhm.
leaned down, he clicked it, and he turned around, and he walked away. I was like, "Yeah, smart move." You yell at me and flip me off because your dog's stealing my food. It's my fault.
Yeah.
I didn't try and kick at the dog. I didn't do anything other than yell at the guy, "Come get your dog." I had my foot up so he couldn't come any farther. I
Yeah.
just put my foot out, so he had to stay behind that. But I get in trouble eating an apple turnover. Minding my own business.
Well, if it had been Tillamook, I pity that dog.
Oh,
Mhm.
no, dog had been all right. Owner would be dead, and then I would have shared. Well, I couldn't have shared that Tillamook with the dog because it was chocolate.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I liked about Roslyn was the food.
Yeah, the food's pretty
You
good
just
over there.
get a steak pie.
Oh,
Well,
and
the food at Dunvegan's is pretty good too.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
It's too
St.
bad
Andrews
we
is
have
a
that one
food
homeless,
city.
that one homely waitress, that's just going to have to struggle through life.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Okay, just so you people don't think I'm being a crude thing. This girl was as sweet as could be. Looked like a 19-year-old Farrah Fawcett, and was just as nice as she could be. And I'd always say, "Oh, so we got the homely one." Feel so sorry for her. And what's so funny is watching those people. They're like, they're like little missiles going.
the Scottish are quick.
Mhm. They're very
Yeah,
fast.
I was sitting, look out my window, in Edinburgh, and watch the people walk, and the girls walk like cheetahs. I mean, it's and the guys are like, boom, 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 and they go, I pointed it out to you guys one time. You went, yeah, they really do walk fast.
They do.
Mhm.
Well, especially, everywhere because they're trying to accomplish things. But in Edinburgh, everybody walks fast. That is a busy, the old town. That is
Yeah.
a busy town. Considering that it's mostly tourists that are walking the streets through there,
Mhm.
it's you can tell who's local and who's not
Mhm.
by the speed of their gait.
I did see something really fantastic on Princess Street. Now, this is right after I'd fallen down and really messed up my leg, and I had a cane and I was hobbling along, and I was, the buildings were right here. I was walking, trying to stay out of everybody's way, and I see this girl pull up next to me, and she just goes flying right in front of me, and I'm like, right, and I look over there, and there's this older lady who's falling backwards, and this girl comes in and goes snag and catches her before she can
Oh,
fall.
wow.
And she was already falling down. It wasn't like she just held her up. She went and she just and pulled her back up. And I was like, wow, wonder if she has a cape. Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
It was probably at the dry cleaners that day.
Yeah, she just yeah, but boy, she went smoking along, but that was pretty cool. By the way, people, if any
You were saved by some of the Scottish people when we were there the second time
Yep.
down there in the grass market.
Mhm.
that is funny though. We were walking along, and they have these cylinders that are made out of cement, and they're about 2 feet high, and it's to keep the cars from going and hitting the people in the restaurant because they
It's
sit
a
outside.
pedestrian area.
And we're walking along, and I'm looking up at the castle because it's up on the left, and I hit both shins at the same time on one of these things and went head first over and onto the concrete. Bam! And I know how to fall.
Lost his hat.
Yeah, I know how to fall. I go boom, and all of a sudden I start going up, and I'm like, well, at least I'm going the right direction. And it's all the people that were in the restaurant came running over and grabbed me and lifted me up. It's like,
I'm going to do my
We're
impersonation
okay.
of them. Oh, sir. Are you okay, sir?
I know they're so nice.
They were, it was women, it was men, it was just, everybody was just like, boom.
A couple babies had my feet. It was like
It
the dog was licking my face. I mean, it was a team effort.
was cool.
Well,
Yeah,
you
that-
got to remember, we did have a very weird happening when we were in Edinburgh this year,
What was that?
when we were leaving.
What
Well,
happened?
we had
The bomb scare.
well, we had
Oh.
the march first, and
Yeah.
then the bomb scare.
Mhm.
And well, they did actually find a package, they had to remove it, but there was it was interesting because it was when we were, some of the litter from the parade, the march, had
Barclays.
anti-Barclays stuff,
Yeah. Mhm.
and Barclays was where that device was,
Yeah.
which was in
And
the
that
building
was-
of our hotel, which
Mhm.
was fun.
Yeah, it was right under where we sleep.
Yeah.
It's like boom.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was different. And then I put my earplugs in and my face mask on, and I went to sleep. And I guess they had a riot out front of the hotel, and I didn't hear any of it.
I
I
didn't
guess
hear
there
that.
were sirens and stuff going off, and I didn't.
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it either.
Yeah, there were
window-
riots out front.
Well, we
Yeah.
were.
I saw it
Because
on the news the
Waverly.
next day. I thought, well, I didn't hear it because I was asleep. Didn't
Well, I'm
have
a really light sleeper, and I sleep right on that spot, right out that window.
Mhm.
Maybe they were talking about the March.
No, it was at night. It was in the middle of the night.
I don't know how we slept through that.
Oh, I was exhausted. Well, as much food as we ate.
Yeah.
We went to the Ivy. We ate
Yeah,
all that food.
that was pretty good food. Pretty good
Yeah.
food.
Pretty good company too.
I don't know if I told you this when we were walking around. They had all these like wannabe models that were the hostesses, and they're all like 18 years old and all energy flying around, ponytails everywhere. And there was this one girl that was kind of quiet, cute girl, but kind of quiet and more reserved. And on the way out, she was saying, I said, can I tell you something? She goes, what's that? I said, you're the best looking girl in here, and walked away. So maybe that made her day.
That could have.
Probably did.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
By the way, you brought up Cat, the other cat, Cat Mowat.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know she's an award-winning paranormal author.
I didn't either.
Yeah, she actually gave me one of her books.
No.
Yeah, she's up for 4 awards in writing this go round.
That's neat.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, talented people everywhere, and they hang out with me. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's up with that.
Maybe they're afraid to get too high up in the thing, and I can drag them down to the middle.
Whatevs.
Whatevs.
But this is I love when we get together and do a show. It to me is one of the more fun things to do. And last week I was talking about Three Eye Atlas, and so which to me is kind of paranormal too, because don't nobody know what that is. But it's a comet. It's not a comet. It's a spacecraft. It's not a spacecraft. It's a
big rock. It's not a big rock. It's got stuff coming out of it.
Well, that's the comet side, right?
Mhm.
But I got tickled because I'm sitting there reading. Never take anything seriously on Facebook, but I'm sitting there reading, and it's coming back. It's coming back for us, and I'm like, it's not coming back for us. We're not the goal here, I don't think.
No.
But it's so interesting because there's a lot of consternation because people we don't trust people because COVID. There's a lot of shit us, and a lot of it was not true or necessary. So we have a real problem with our government now, a lot of people. And so I'm sitting there and I'm listening to all these, it is a comet. It's not a comet. It's a comet. And one of the most respected rocket scientists, intelligent humans on the planet is like, this is not behaving as a comet. Well, all these other people are like, that man doesn't know what he's talking about. He's an alarmist. He's this. And I'm like,
wasn't that Michio Kaku?
That was Avi Loeb.
Yeah, Michio Kaku was saying the same stuff, but I kind of thought that was an AI thing, some, going over.
I didn't see the
one
with Michio, but they're very similar in character. They're very steadfast in their beliefs, both of them. But it was interesting to me because we had so many people in the show last week because I was talking about the comet. And, I have friends who are actually rocket scientists who are studying this. And it's weird to me because they don't have the same opinion. One of them is he used to be he probably still is the video and photo analysis and person for MUFON. And then he's also on a lot of these shows. He's also experienced a USO, an underwater, an unidentified submerged object. And, so he does have a lot of experience, and he's an astronomer, and he's really smart. And he's like, there's no way this is nothing but this. And I'm like, Abby Loeb said maybe not. Well, he's wrong. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't just, brush somebody like that off. And so it's really interesting because even in the scientific field, there's all this fussing and bickering, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And there's this and there's that. That sounds like they're paranormal people. It sounds like they're a bunch of ghost hunters that didn't get their airtime on TV. So it's just crazy.
Mhm.
It's crazy. And that rock, the stuff coming out of that rock was because it got close to the sun and everything was evaporating, and that's what makes the tail. And so, it's that part is a thing, but it's just so interesting because there's a lot of people that know a lot of stuff and they're not agreeing on this.
Mm-mm.
And, but when they were sitting there this week saying, it's coming back, it's like, it didn't just turn around. That would take a lot of propulsion to get that baby turned. It wouldn't turn that fast, I wouldn't think.
Well,
But-
it would have to circumnavigate the sun.
Well, they could just turn around.
Well, I mean, it would be coming back if it went around the sun. Boing.
Well, it wouldn't have to go around the sun if it wanted to, just navigate back. I mean, I can turn my car around to pull into a Piggly Wiggly somewhere, but it's just kind of it's just interesting that there's panic and there's ugliness and there's all this stuff. Like I said, they sound like a bunch of paranormal investigators sometimes. So
That's an orb. No, it's not.
that is not a voice. I did not jump that fence. So, all kinds of
My little brother got thrown into this conversation.
I catch. But it's really interesting because we in the paranormal field have different opinions about stuff, but these rocket scientists really have some opinions about stuff. So I'm going to be talking about that again next week. But since we've got 2 minutes and I have to be off of here in 1.5. So thank you so much for being here and sharing our adventures. I love when we get to talk about our adventures.
Oh yeah.
And, I just love both of you guys. We're so good at working together, and we're such good friends, and I appreciate you both. Thank you.
Well, same to you.
Same here, Darren.
Same to you.
Well, and that being said, we're going to go. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed everything, and thank you for being here. And we will see you next week. Same cat time, same cat channel. Good
See
night.
you, peeps.